everybody's played a preseason football game.
Yes, indeed.
And fortunately, there have been, through 1 week of professional football preseason action, no major names significantly injured. Nobody significantly injured in the National Football League that is going to alter some team's ability to win this Super Bowl. And I say that with all due respect to players who might not be at the top of your fantasy football depth charts that did get injured. That is the ultimate aspect about this playing season, is that somebody's fortunes have been altered. And unfortunately, though, for the running backs that are sitting at home, and man, have we talked about this for months, certainly on this program, about the running back market and how running backs got franchise tagged. And one in particular has still not signed his tender, Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders, who got an outstanding performance in the final preseason game of the weekend from Aiden O'Connell, the Purdue Boilermaker quarterback, who kind of put the scare in my Wolverines for a brief bit during the Big Ten championship game. That offense certainly with Aiden O'Connell was humming, and Josh Jacobs wasn't there. And nobody got hurt. Every running back that's sitting at home, Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, who's knocked on a few doors, Leonard Fournette, Josh Jacobs. Certainly in the case of the first four I've mentioned, nobody got hurt, leading them to potentially sign somewhere as the savior. And what I mean by that also is that they would be able to swoop in and get something close to their asking price that none of the teams that previously employed them wanted to pay them anymore. Now what? Wait one more preseason week? Because I'll tell you what, each team, as they continue to run preseason football and practices and scrimmages and 7-on-7s and living with one another and bonding with one another, with each passing day that they get through 4 quarters of football, they might not be as interested in signing somebody new. And again, I know this is not going to be his forte. How did Deuce Vaughn look for the Dallas Cowboys this weekend?
Not too bad.
8 rushes, 50 yards.
Not too shabby.
Against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, I know, what was the phrase that you heard from a highly respected talent evaluator when you were like, hey, Malik Cunningham, he might be pretty damn good?
Yeah, it was.
What was the phrase that pays on that one, Chris?
He's playing against bartenders and truck drivers. So
bartenders and truck drivers. I get it. I understand that that's the way it's going to look.
Yeah.
Both very upstanding professions, by the way.
Of course.
But, I mean, the Jets got almost 5 yards per carry from Israel Abanaconda.
I don't know who that is. God bless you.
No, but he's a
guy right there.
He's a kid that the New York Jets drafted this year. Let me get the exact. He was a 5th-round pick out of Pitt.
Yeah.
You know any good running backs that have come from that program?
Oh, yeah, there's been a handful. 2 or 3,
Again, you know,
5.
So why would the Jets with Zonovan Knight as well, who they drafted last year, a kid out of NC State? They like him. Why go and pay Dalvin Cook millions of dollars? Now, you know how I've been caping for the running backs here.
You've been...
I think I'm the lead caper.
Steering the ship.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Let me take off my glasses so you don't think I'm Clark Kent for that. Seriously, I have Superman. Been caping. Okay? By the way, radio audience, I took off my glasses. I was wearing them. But this is the way it's working right now.
Josh Jacobs needs to stop screwing around, get to the facility, sign his franchise tender, lock in the 10.1, and get back to work.
Get that money, man.
Or because the price goes down every single day.
Well, it's not the price goes down because that tender's still there for him as long as it's still on the table. And you know Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk's come on this show for weeks saying, what if the Raiders pull that tender off the table, which they can do, and say, hey, Josh, you're not finding 10.1 anywhere else. Anywhere else. And they beat the 49ers yesterday. Now, we'll talk about what happened with the 49ers quarterback group with Matt Mayoko of NBC Sports Bay Area in a moment, because I was focused on that. But 34-7 was the final score in that one. And they walked off that field going, we just pounded the 49ers in our home place, and I get it. Who didn't start.
Yeah, nobody did.
But I'm talking about the way the reality works. The reality works of coaches coach only those who are here. You hear it all the time. They know in the back of their head, of course Josh Jacobs makes them a better team. Of course he's important to every single man in that locker room. Of course, every single man in that locker room loves this guy. There's a reason why Max Crosby was reportedly sitting in the same car with Josh Jacobs the day that the franchise tag deadline hit. And that he was ready to either hit the facility with Max or not. And so they know that, but they also come off the field going, hey, we just won a game convincingly. We're feeling really good about ourselves. How do you think the Raiders feel heading into their facility today? Great. How do you think Josh McDaniels feels today? Great. Do you think any of them are there going, well, they didn't have Purdy. Well, they didn't have Debo and Ayuk and Kittle.
Bosa.
Yeah, they didn't have any of those guys. Do you think any of them are sitting there? No. Their guys were on the field. Our guys were on the field. We didn't have Jimmy G. We didn't have Devontae Adams. We didn't have Max Crosby. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. Their guys beat the other guys. And they're now moving on to the next. And then guess what? In less than a month, they take the field against the Denver Broncos, who, by the way, do you think they would like to be walking into their facility today the way the Raiders are? How things went for them in Arizona, losing basically in a walk-off fashion? Having Russell Wilson struggle for a while and then find Jerry Jeudy for a touchdown, but the defender fell down. And they're talking about, Russ, God bless him, after the game's talking about how Jeudy juked him out. And that's why he was on his butt. That's the way preseason football works, people. And we are fans going, well, that's garbage. Well, they look great. And now we're on a Monday, and we will overreact in the middle of this program, as we always do on a Monday. I'm just talking about the way teams evaluate and what the evaluation right now in New York, potentially New England, potentially New England, any spot, Dallas, where we're thinking, well, Zeke will just re-sign there with 10 days to go, and 21 will have the star on the side of his helmet again, and off we go. Oh, Kareem Hunt's definitely going to find a spot. Leonard Fournette's definitely going to find a spot. Well, absolutely. Dalvin Cook's going to find a spot. I mean, each week that these guys get through a preseason week without a significant injury, they're just going to go with the guys they have at a significant rate. And we'll see, because right now, a lot of these guys, the running backs, are just waiting. Well, we're through one preseason week, and
keep waiting.
Because someone is going to get hurt, obviously, right? I mean, a hamstring's going to get tweaked.
I hope not. First, by the way,
and I'm not wishing it, but it just
stinks.
Happens.
By the way, it stinks that these running backs are in a position of waiting. Yeah. Part of the reason why they're waiting is because they want to get their best possible maximum leverage if a team does emerge healthy, but doesn't perform well. They might get a little antsy. Let's get this guy in. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.